At Star Labs, there is a wild police shootout taking place. A giant green monster is taking out cops left and right. Hulk? The monster is working with Poison Ivy, and they are worried about the arrival of Batman. Poison Ivy is downloading information about a classified biotest, seemingly up to something. Later on, Batman investigates the scene. He says that this was about information, and Nightwing finds what Ivy was looking for. She's after Dr. Alec Holland, who was working to turn deserts into forests, and an attack made him turn into Swamp Thing. Batman stresses that they must figure out what they're up to and need the help of Harley Quinn, who was recently released from jail. Batman goes to Argus for information, looking for a man that was kidnapped. He blackmails a sergeant for information, and he's given a file on the missing man, who is an expert on man-made diseases. While that is happening, Nightwing is on the streets asking random people if they've seen Harley, but no one saw anything. He finds the Hooters of superhero cafes, where waiters are dressed like heroes. Harley is working there as well, and attacks a harasser who tries to touch her. Nightwing waits till she leaves at night and follows her. She's seemingly straight and goes home in a sketchy area. Harley knows that Nightwing is following her, and he asks her where he can find Ivy, but she refuses to help. She's trying to make a living far away from capes and masks. Nightwing gets on her nerves trying to convince her, and she attacks him, releasing her pent-up anger on him, but he beats her down. She comes back and continues till he knocks her down again. Suddenly, Nightwing goes crazy, and it turns out that she gave him a dose of the Joker venom before knocking him out. Meanwhile, Batman investigates the doctor's place, doing some of his detective work. He finds a leaf but says it's not from this dimension. It was the green monster who broke in and kidnapped the doctor. He calls Nightwing, but Nightwing is not responding, and Batman claims that he can handle himself. Meanwhile, Nightwing is very much handling himself with Harley. She's talking to herself, calling him cute, and says that there's no one in the building but them. He calls her a criminal, but she refuses to be labeled as one. Stressing that she's now straight, she shows him all the rejection letters she's been receiving from jobs and not able to get any honest work. He feels bad for her, but suddenly, she decides to change, and things get weird. What is this movie turning into?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
She gets funny ideas and starts hitting on him, and they strike a deal. The things Nightwing does for Gotham.
The things I do for love.
Meanwhile, Ivy is putting the doctor under her control, and the monster doesn't like it. They are working on a virus that will force everyone to go green. Batman continues looking for Nightwing and hears noises coming from a room. He thinks of breaking in but realizes what is going on and interrupts.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Harley is on board to help, and Batman is disappointed while Nightwing tries to play it cool and fails. They head out and Harley lists her terms to work with them, but Batman refuses them all and she goes along anyway. They bring her along and leave. Batman concludes that Ivy is trying to turn everyone into Swamp Thing, and life could be extinct if anything goes wrong. Harley's job is to find Ivy, and she finds someone who can lead them to her. He starts running away, and they all chase after him around the streets. They cause a ruckus, and Batman and Nightwing follow. They run through an alley, and he climbs up a building, with everyone still on his tail. They continue till they surround him, and Harley starts slapping him. Turns out, the guy has nothing to do with anything, and he was just a random ex of hers. So they take her back to the car, seemingly having had enough of her. Batman warns her that he'll dump her in the nearest police station if she tries anything stupid again. She isn't focused, but they have no choice but to trust her. They move towards Bloodhaven, and Batman is as serious as a rock. She keeps dropping farts, and Nightwing is in agony. Finally, Batman can't take it anymore and stops at a gas station. They reach a roadhouse and find weird things going down inside. People watch them as they come in, and Batman receives a drink from someone. They watch as Harley mingles, and suddenly, the lights shut off. Harley is on the mic, and she starts singing some rock music. Seriously, what kind of movie is this? Batman is caught enjoying this, and the guy makes his way over to Batman. He starts annoying him until Batman knocks him out, and a mob boss gets involved. Nightwing is now dancing, and Harley drops the mic. She gets the information she was after, but suddenly, they're now surrounded. Everyone wants a piece of Batman. Batman drinks his milk, takes his belt off, and we can probably guess what happened there. As they leave, they get a call from Watchtower, informing them that there is no help available, and they continue on this weird journey. Meanwhile, the doctor is testing on mice, and it starts to transform. It appears to be stable and that the virus works until it doesn't. The monster is mad, but the doctor explains that there are millions of variables why it didn't work and theorizes that they need precise water samples from Swamp Thing. Before they move, the team breaks in, and Harley tries to talk to Ivy, Batman attacks and a fight breaks out, but the green monster is too strong for them. They fight back, but Batman is knocked around. A fire breaks out and the Doctor wakes up from under Ivy's control. The monster kills him, and the building falls and explodes. They survive, but Nightwing is pinned down and Batman helps him. Harley is tending to the dying Doctor and he tells them that Ivy is targeting Louisiana for the swamp water before dying, and Harley is visibly affected. On the city borders, the authorities stake out the city. Ivy doesn't like the monster's actions, and he reveals a magical yam and forces her to eat it. It gives them special powers, and they seem to connect to the trees. The tree then turns into a teleport and they go through. Meanwhile, firefighters put out the fire, and the team is tended to. Nightwing is feeling down and Harley cheers him up. Batman says that the authorities are getting involved. He calls the Batplane and leaves Harley behind. She is enraged and says that they need her. Batman says that he can't trust her and calls her crazy. She rambles on and starts crying, begging them to go along. Nightwing suggests she could be the contingency plan, and Batman reluctantly agrees to make her plan B. They fly over to Louisiana, and there are forces at the swamp alongside the team. Harley doesn't stop complaining about the environment as they move through. Batman knows Ivy and the monster found a way over here, but still, Harley can't stop running her mouth. Suddenly, everyone is on alert, and people start getting taken down. Meanwhile, Ivy is finishing up the virus. Harley spots a trap and takes them around, but she double-crosses them and throws them in the water where they're caught by Ivy's plants. Ivy arrives and Harley tells her that she was pretending to be on their side, but she still tries to talk her out of it, seemingly up to something. She blows up the trap and a fight breaks out between everyone. Ivy takes on Harley while the monster fights Batman and Nightwing. They tag team on him and everyone continues to fight. Nightwing tries to zap the monster, but it is not enough. He beats Nightwing and forces Arrive to open fire on him. Ivy continues to fight Harley and the monster destroys the forces. The fight goes on longer as everyone tries to take everyone out. Ivy and Harley punch each other, and Ivy traps her and goes back to the virus. It is untested, and everything can go wrong, but Ivy is blind to the consequences and willing to risk it all. Finally, Harley removes her makeup and puppy-eyes her, and starts crying to make Ivy stop. It works, but it won't work on the monster. He doesn't care. He attacks Ivy, and they battle it out to see who is stronger with the Force. It appears to be Ivy as she struggles with this battle, but he's overcome. He then punches her, as well as Harley, and everyone is now defeated as he grabs the virus. Suddenly, the ground shakes, and nature starts acting up. Swamp Thing rises out the water, making the monster look like nothing. He says that this is not the way. His cause is just, but his methods are wrong, but he lets him be and leaves. The monster starts laughing, but there's nothing they can do. Harley suggests lighting him up. A light bulb moment, and presumably, that works. In the aftermath, a man is at a therapist talking about his problems. The therapist turns out to be Harley, who is now practicing her profession at last. But on live television, like Dr. Phil, she uses her weird methods to make her patient feel better, and it's like Wipeout. If Harley was my doctor, I'll be just fine. Finally, this weird movie comes to an end. Well, this was the weirdest movie I've ever seen in my life. It is the definition of, you can't predict their next move. Everything was random and unexplainable, but in a good way. It was a fun, humorous film that mixed in serious elements in just the right combination. We felt like Harley was the main character, but it didn't feel forced like they do today. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this film. Did you like the tone and the randomness of the film? Do you prefer for other characters to have the spotlight instead of just Batman? Or do you prefer to see Batman kicking ass by himself? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.